I am Pixie from Planet Pixie, and I plan weddings and events with a difference. If you are watching along live, please do comment and ask us any questions. If you're watching on the replay, #replay. I'm joined this evening by Jill from Not Again. Jill, good evening.
Hi.
So tell us what you do.
So I create macrame pieces for weddings and events. I suppose best known for macrame backdrops, but I also have other things in my range, like table runners, chandeliers. I have a teepee, and it's terrible, isn't it, when you forget what you do have till you get it out of the cupboard. Bunting, anything you can think of that's macrame.
So how did you get into it?
Well, I've always been quite creative and been making something, but I was working full time. And then I took redundancy and was sort of looking for something else. I kind of got into looking at the wedding industry when my son got married a couple of years ago, and got to know some other wedding suppliers. And then I happened to see a macrame backdrop and I really loved it. And I had done macrame on a very small scale. I don't know if you remember, like Shambhala bracelets. So they're a macrame knot. So I'd, done that for a while. So just started to make macrame pieces, started to, really practice, make some smaller pieces, and then made my first wedding backdrop. And we used that for a wedding back in September 19.
So is it a macrame, did you say? Is that the type of knot? Is that like the method used to create?
It's a method. So there's not a huge amount of knots, actually. It's quite, there's some real basic knots that everybody uses and that most things consist of. It's like anything, I suppose. There's always somebody coming up with a new twist on it or something. So I suppose it's surprising the different effects you can get from the same sort of basic knot. And obviously, unless you want them to be, no two pieces are the same, because there's so many different ways of, ordering them or framing them or whatever you do. So yeah,
what's the material that you use for that?
Well, macrame cord is, I tend to only use cotton, and I prefer to use a recycled cotton. I like the thought that it's quite eco-friendly, way of creating things for weddings and events. So yeah, I do tend to use cotton. There is maybe not so much in this country, but in Australia, in America, where they have better weather than we do, they do make some things for outside, and I guess then there would be some kind of nylon or polyester or something like that within it, but in this country we don't tend to do that quite so much. It does tend to be cotton, but there are different types of macrame cords, so without becoming a bore about it, so there's kind of different thicknesses, and there's like a single twist, and there's triple twist cord, and there's also a braided cord. So it depends what effect you want. So if you're looking for something quite sort of fluffy, then and with tassels and things, then it's a single twist. If you want something quite sort of set and I don't know how to describe it. I suppose something a bit more, a bit like, I suppose, this one I've got behind me up here, where you've kind of got that set pattern. The pattern sort of stays where it is, so it's you get a firmer finish. Then you'd use a 3-ply type cord. So it's a bit horses for courses. So it's a bit, when I know what I want to make, then I'll choose the cord that I want to use.
Yeah, but it's good to know that you can get those different effects, and it's not just that one look that you can achieve. So we actually pulled up your website, didn't we, just before we came on? So I can share the screen and we can go through some of those images that you have on your thing. People will have to bear with me a second because I'm using just one screen, so this may go horribly wrong. But let's see what we can. Oh, how many versions of my own face are there? That's quite good.
It's like a never-ending mirror.
Yes, I'm sure this is a better view for people. So this obviously is a lovely piece. Is this the piece you mentioned to me earlier that is part of that frame?
Yeah, this was the first one that I made actually, and that was at a wedding in September when they must have had like the only bluest, sunniest day possible in September. So it was amazing. But yeah, so that one it's on a big piece of driftwood that I found on the local beach and sort of cleaned up and and sorted out myself. And I'm
loving the repurposing.
When I'm planning a piece, I tend to think, so I might find a piece of driftwood and then think, what do I want to create on that? Or I might think I want something on a copper tube because, that will go well. I've got a copper stand as well, so that will attach to the copper stand. So I tend to sort of start a little bit from thinking about what I have and then build the backdrop from that. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that idea. I hate things going to waste, going to landfill. So repurposing them in this way is a brilliant idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good picture. I love pictures where they show character and people having a good time as opposed to
absolutely. Yeah, that's good. Oh, chair backs, that's something else I do. So that was a couple of chair backs that actually match that backdrop. That was a shoot that we did at a sort of quite a modern barn type venue. So I don't know if you can quite see the little hearts on those.
Yeah.
But, chair backs are quite nice for the tends to be mostly for the couple getting married. Obviously I can make to order. So I have seen some weddings where every chair has got something, but it's a little bit more basic. Whereas if it's just for the couple, you can sort of put a different style on it, I suppose.
Yeah, I can imagine these work really nicely in barns.
Yeah. And that's that same backdrop, but obviously in this same barn setting. But looks quite different because it's indoors and you've got a different colour scheme with the flowers. It was quite an autumny sort of colour scheme in that one.
Yeah, lovely idea for like a selfie area or like photo, space.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, that's just a longer shot of that same one where you've got the chair backs and the backdrop. There's lovely light in that venue.
Yeah, it looks lovely.
This was a woodland shoot that we did. So that's actually the backdrop that is behind me at the moment. That's the one I call the crystal backdrop. Unbelievably, when we went to that shoot, it was absolutely hammering down for about an hour. And we thought, this is just going to flood the area. We won't be able to do anything here. And then the rain went, sun came out, and it was amazing because it had the raindrops that sort of left almost like a sparkle on the trees. So it was really quite magical. So it was a great shoot, that one.
Yeah, you wouldn't tell that had been covered in rain.
No, I think because it was like a pine forest. I suppose the rain sort of, did soak away quite quickly. And then in the forefront there, that's a bouquet wrap around the bouquet, and like a nice sage colour.
That's a lovely idea to give it that extra bit of length and
that kind of real boho look then.
Yeah. Close shot.
Bit of a closer. And that was this was in a barn wedding. That was a custom order actually, and that was the photographer who was on the shoot, and she wanted to buy the backdrop afterwards, and she's going to use then in her own studio. That's on a piece of driftwood as well, and that was on a barn. I really like the look of macrame against those kind of barn stone walls. I think it really suits that lovely rustic look.
Yeah, it really works.
And that was some different style of chair back in that same barn. So they were sort of made, they're in my higher collection, but they were sort of made to go with that backdrop as well.
Yeah, because you both sell and hire them, don't you?
Yeah. So I custom make or have them in the higher collection. That's a table runner, and I do really love the again the macrame against that wooden table. So I've got an order at the moment that I'm working on for longer table runners for like the natural wooden trestle tables that will be at a wedding. And yeah, I think it really stands out really well against that natural wood.
Yeah, it does really work with all these natural settings. And
yeah, this was another woodland shoot. This was yeah, it was really lovely hot summer's day. And that's original backdrop again behind them there. They're in a ceremony circle. It was a stone circle. We had to walk across about 4 fields to get there, carrying this backdrop and the copper pipes and everything.
Oh no!
But, I thought it's got to be something really special when we get there at the end. And it was this kind of like, I don't know, like ancient stone circle. So it was quite an unusual place. And that was on that same shoot, and that's my macrame teepee, and we used it there as the cake stand, I suppose you could say.
I love this picture. I love a teepee and I love cake.
Yeah, so, what's not to love?
It's a beautiful way of bringing more to, as opposed to just having your cake on a table, to making more of a statement piece of your cake as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Some of these cakes are just amazing, aren't they? So you think, why wouldn't you want to really highlight the cake?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't everybody have a photo of it? So yeah, it's a great way. And this same woodland, actually, it's the same shoot. This is, I call this one my Brighton bunting piece backdrop. So it's very big, as you can see, but it's on a rope, so it can be tied to trees or anything and put up anywhere. And just has quite a nice, I quite like, it's got quite a nice movement, so it does look really nice outside with a little bit of breeze blowing through it, but makes a great kind of something around an entrance or as a backdrop. So, you know, again,
I was thinking of the entrance, especially to like a woodland ceremony.
This was a shoot that was in Brighton, and that's just, I just really love that photo because it's just such a obviously it's an indoor venue. I think it was the Spire, I think it's called, in Brighton, which is a venue, and it's quite sort of rustic inside, and that's just showing off again one of the bouquet wraps that I'd made for that one.
Yeah, they're very effective.
And that's that same, so this again is in Brighton, that same, no, actually, beg your pardon, this is a different shoot in Brighton, but that's that same bunting, so that's why I call it Brighton bunting, because it was made for this shoot. And there they used it, they tied it onto, this is a rooftop in Brighton, and they tied it to a chimney either side of this space, rooftop space that they had. And it's actually, I don't know if you can quite see it, but it's to emphasize the view from the rooftop is the sea at Brighton, so it was kind of framed the sea. So again, really unusual.
It's all about making an unusual place to have, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You wouldn't necessarily think of, and there's kind of it panning back, you wouldn't think of macrame being used in like a city rooftop wedding, would you? But actually it's
really worked.
It worked really well.
So I just want to sit and meditate in that space.
I know, it just is awesome. There's so many flowers. It was organised by a florist in Brighton. So, you can tell because there's just so many flowers there. But yeah, I think she had housefuls of flowers before she did the shoot.
Making the most of what she's got there.
Yeah. So this is the one of the woodland shoots. So you can see that in the background, that Brighton bunting is again tied to trees, and that was sort of the entrance. Further down there they had a table set up, but here in the forefront where they've got the cake, and we used macrame jars with candles in, sort of on wooden tree stumps, sort of around the cake area there, and that looked really effective. That's really pretty. So I do also have a number of macrame jars. Again, I do like to recycle, so I'm a bit terrible at not chucking out any jars. I drive my husband mad because I'm always washing out the jars and storing them away somewhere.
I do it, and then they say, "Why do you need all these jars?" Then you make a batch of soup, and everybody wants some, and then all the jars disappear. I hate throwing things away. I hate things going to landfill, or a turtle getting stuck in something makes me really sad.
Exactly.
So I'm with you on that. I will encourage you all the way to save and recycle everything you can.
Yeah. So that's the teepee again, and that was a beach in Weston-super-Mare. We did this little shoot, and so here we had we'd use the teepee there, and there's a little table beside them that's got some macrame bunting around it.
Yes,
you didn't quite see, but we also on this shoot, the bride had her little dog with her, and the stylist set up a little dog station, and there was at the dog station there was a little I did a little macrame hanging especially for the dog station. There was a bottle of Prosecco. Did you know you could get such a thing?
Yes, my mum bought some for my cat before.
Oh dear.
I just keep looking at that picture thinking, I hope she sat on a towel or like a rug or something.
Oh yeah, they were. And that's actually showing that the backdrop that I have behind me, that crystal one that was in the woodland as well. What I did with that one, I thought I'd quite like to make it a little bit wider. So I have added on either side what I'm calling backdrop extensions. So they kind of add to that particular backdrop, but they can also be used separately on their own. So just a kind of a new idea that these ideas come into my head.
I really like the piping. It's really effective.
And that's just a smaller hanging. Although on Pinterest, this picture has really gone mad, but I didn't particularly, when I designed it, the idea of this small hanging was to put table plans on, when you have the table plans like on a postcard size where you've kind of got the list of names, and that's how I kind of envisaged that it would kind of have these separate postcard sized cards, and then we would just attach them to the hanging. But at this particular shoot, she had done it as one piece of card with all of the names on, but for whatever reason it kind of gone mad on Pinterest. So there you go. It just goes to show it's not always what you like yourself.
Yeah, people love a different idea for table settings. It's one of those things people seem to want to change up.
So this is just looking back from that barn shoot that we did with that custom hanging, and just the style there, the kind of real rustic style they had with foliage and apples, and it was quite it was an autumn sort of shoot, so just quite different.
I like that idea of having some fruit on the table, but I'm always hungry. Okay, let's try and bring us back up now so I can talk to you and see you, as opposed to we're trying to pretend that I can see you when actually I can't. So what's the process for working with you then? What's the best thing for people to consider when thinking, I like the look of that, I found it on Pinterest, looks great. What do people need to think about?
Well, first of all, just I'd say get in touch from whichever method, by email or on my website or on Instagram or Facebook, wherever. I'm on them all. And initially, really, I would just want to kind of have a chat about what are the ideas, what do you what do you have in mind? What's your sort of thinking about your day or your event? What I have discovered is I did a blog for the North Devon Wedding Network, and it was about I sort of talked about in the blog about different ways to use macrame at a wedding or an event. And when you do these things yourself, you kind of assume everybody knows what's available, but actually the feedback I had from people was, oh, I didn't realize that, you know, you could make that, or that, you know, that was a thing or whatever. So I did think that actually I should encourage more people just to kind of have a no obligation chat and just kind of see what's possible, really. And if, you know, macrame is going to suit their theme, if it's going to suit what they want, what they're looking for. So as I say, I do have a higher portfolio, and on my website there's the pictures of the different hangings and the prices and things on there. But I also do custom orders. For a custom order, if somebody wanted something that they can then keep afterwards and have in their home, have it as your headboard or on display in your lounge, whatever, then I would need notice, at least 6 weeks notice, but obviously it would need to be sort of discussed, because it really depends on what else I have on. If I've got another order, you know, happening, then, you know, just kind of see where I'm at time wise. So if you're looking for something that you can keep afterwards, then as much notice as possible. But if you're looking for something to hire, then obviously, provided I have what you want for the date that you have in mind, then it probably wouldn't need as much notice. So, but as with anything with planning weddings, you know, it can takes people years, doesn't it, sometimes, to plan a wedding? So, but equally, you know, you can have amazing weddings planned at really short notice, can't you? So, you know, whatever fits.
I've seen nearly every single episode of Don't Tell the Bride.
Yeah.
I know they get some help, but we didn't say that.
No.
So do you find that the colours make a difference? Does it tend to work in any colour, or is it more effective in, do you class it, is that a cream or an ivory kind of?
Well, I suppose natural. They call the the normal ones. These are all natural cord, which is like a off-white, like a cream, I suppose. You can get white. I can get white cord, and I have made some stuff for people in a white cord. But I suppose the natural does tend to go with any other colour. So I suppose that's the most popular. But I do have I made like a royal blue and green and gold backdrop for a peacock styled shoot, and that went to an American magazine actually that published that one. So colour is possible, and same with the bouquet wraps or anything like that. You can add in colour. We have as well with the teepee, we've added like coloured tassels to the front of it to kind of tie in with the theme. And I have what my latest backdrop that I've made is it's an assortment of different macrame knots, and the whole backdrop is on a cord, so it can be tied anywhere or tied onto anything. And the plan with it is that there's kind of space to maneuver each length of macrame to add in colours if they want it to match a theme. So, and we can add in colours using ribbons or macrame cords, or even like pieces of material, sari silk, you know, anything that anybody wants to sort of think about, we can add it in lengths, or it can be knotted accordingly. So I just wanted something that would be really flexible to kind of suit any occasion, really.
So the thing I want to know about absolutely everything is, does it come in black?
Well, I have got black. I have got actually I was really disappointed because I I had somebody who wanted to do a gothic shoot, and I was going to do a black wall hanging for that. I was so looking forward to doing that. I even bought little silver bird head skeletons. They're not real ones. I did look at the real ones, but I thought, oh, I'm not sure what people will think of that. So I did go for like the silver version. Yeah. So I was really looking forward to it. But then the autumn lockdown happened, so that kind of was put off, and we haven't got another date for that yet. So I am looking forward to it. I've got the cord ready and the bit of driftwood.
I look forward to doing that one. That one sounds right up my street. And in fact, the semi-secret conversation we had before will continue after, based on that. And before anybody thinks I'm not getting married, that is not the secret. Before I start getting texts from my mum, what's the secret? So before I let you go, where can people find you? How can people get in touch?
So I have a website, which is nice and easy. It's just notagainjill.uk. I am on Instagram. I'm the same name on everything. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I did set up a Twitter account, but I just can't get my head around Twitter. So
I find Twitter's just for people complaining, and I don't need that kind of vibe. It's fine.
Yeah.
I say that's all I've ever used it for. Is complaining.
Yeah.
We don't need those vibes. It's fine. And we want pretty pictures, which is not what Twitter's all about.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I prefer something where I can, look at photos and get inspiration, and yeah. I
think that's a creative person's thing, isn't it? We like the visual,
definitely
images that we can get behind. Okay, so I'm just going to pop you backstage, and I'll be back with you in a moment. So thank you for watching, everybody. Like I say, if you're watching on the replay, please do feel free to ask us any questions, and Jill and I will try and come back to you. And then join me again about the same time next week.